Good. First, thank you so much, Professor Inuji, and we have Sandana here, and all the volunteers here in Tushita Center, Delhi. It's always a great joy for me to be a part of Tushita Center, Delhi. And okay, so without much introduction, let me first of all say verses of refuge in Bodhicitta in Tibetan, and then one verse in English to generate Bodhicitta. And those of us who are already familiar with this verse, you can recite with me and mentally invoke the Bodhicitta spirit. This is a great opportunity for us. Finally, as the topic today, the topic requested today is dealing with anger. And we want to know that the opposite of anger is compassion. As the Dr. Renweji said, the patience, and the purpose of that, cultivating patience to avoid anger, and then the purpose is to generate compassion. And why compassion is that you see that anybody who's more compassionate, the person's happier. And of course, all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're the embodiment of compassion. And where anybody who embodies compassion, the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're so happy. So all the great teachers, from the Buddha Shakyamuni and to the Nalanda great masters like Aranyaka and so forth, we see that. And then today, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then here, in fact, just for information that the Professor indicated, mentioned about Lama Geshe. And Lama Geshe, it must have been the case that when I was in Dharamsala as a little boy, and he was there actively, revolutionizing the Buddhism in the West, where his style of teaching and it's something which the West in those days known as the hippie days, hippie era. So there, people were craving for Buddhism at that time, and then such teachers like Lama Geshe, this was crucially required at that time. And when I come to learn that he passed away at a very early age. 49. It's very sad, very, very painful to hear that such incredible great teacher passed away at such an early age. Otherwise, they would have been the plight of the Buddhism so much more than what is today. So then his tasks being continued by his student, Geshe, again a very different personality at the same time, with his own charm, with his own spiritual practice, compassion, the tenderness. Again, we see that millions are affected by him. So let us pray that these enlightened masters, they really come to planet Earth. Today we need, for example, we see that this very sad story of the world today, where you see the uncertainty just spreading everywhere, uncertainty. And in fact, I'm 100% sure that the people, those who have the power today, if they feel the uncertainty, very strong sense of uncertainty. Otherwise, earlier, they thought that I'm very independent, I'm very strong, I can do anything. Now they feel that anybody, because that the moment you destroy somebody will destroy you, they will be there to destroy you. So this is where everybody has to live in fear. And common people have to live in fear. Now look everywhere, in America, in India, everywhere, the hike and the prices. So then what about for example, say in India, the LPG gas, for the cooking gas, there's a scarcity happening now. And everywhere in the world, there's some problems. So with this mind, we really need the enlightened masters. Let's pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that he continues to bless the world, to continuously inspire the world by his existence on the planet Earth, that people come to feel that, okay, there is somebody here on planet Earth who embodies universal compassion. And what I'm doing is very different from his and the personality, where it is there just for the world, and whereas what I'm is for my seat, for my position. So they can see the contrast. So as much as they like to do to destroy the world, they don't dare to go to that extent by remembering, by knowing that there's somebody here who everybody in the world loves. Okay, so having said this, let us indeed begin with some verses invoking all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, that the world becomes a better world, that all these natural disasters, and then above all, the man-made, the wars, conflicts, be on the international level, on the national level, on the community level, family level, domestic level. Let's pray that all these violence they mitigate as much as possible, as soon as possible, for the well-being of the whole humanity, the ecology, and even animals inside the world. To Buddhist mind, let me recite some verses in Tibetan. Those of us who know how to recite in Tibetan, you recite it, and the meaning is the same: invoking compassion. May I, not to blame outside, but may I become a Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge chonam la chanju pardo dani gyatso che dagi chinso kebe sonam Ola benjira sanje dubara sho sanje joda zoge chonam la chanju pardo dani gyatso dagi chinso kebe sonam ge lola benjira sanje dubara sho sanje joda zoge chonam Chanjo bardo dane gyabzo she, dage jinso gebe sonamge, dola benjir sanje dubara sho. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. And also let's recite the Yedharma mantra with 3 times together. And so this Yedharma mantra, don't expect that by reciting this some magic happens and all the wars stop. This is not as simple, not to be understood in that sense. Instead, this mantra is to remind us the whole universe is operating based on cause and effect. Okay, Venerable Samdela, why don't you come here?
Just to help people navigate this.
Okay, so this mantra is to remind us that the whole universe is operating based on a cause and effect. And where you want to enjoy mangoes, you have to plant mango seeds, not apple seeds or not bitter seeds. So this is the whole principle. If you plant bitter seeds and expecting mangoes to grow, this is unwise. So likewise, if you want happiness, if you want to help others, then compassion is the solution. Anger is not the solution. And if you want to be happy yourself, tame your mind. This is a solution, not to think of taming others. Where you are tamed with the compassion, you are tamed with the wisdom, then you can think of, say, the helping others out of great compassion. And so otherwise, the first thing is, if you want to be happy, tame your mind. This is the message of this mantra. So with this mind, let's recite this mantra 3 times together. Om Yetarama Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Meaning of the mantra: all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Okay. Today the topic is the dealing with anger. In the first place, let us begin a talk by asking the question: what do you want in your life? What do you want in your life? This is the question. And just begin from there. For example, like studying physics, studying quantum mechanics, or studying relativity theory, or studying the neuroscience, and of course, they would not start with these questions, because you came there just to learn something pure academic studies, and then whereas if you want to relate them to your real life, yes, of course, after studying all these things, you become an expert, and once you become an expert, then, for example, the highest level, you may be hired by UNO to in the policy making body with respect to, for example, SDGs and the Sustainable Development Goals. So, the policy making body, you may be there because you're an expert. So, and then you have to say something. So, what you say is taking your knowledge, bring your knowledge, whatever you've learned, then try to apply this as a solution to the crisis of the world. So therefore, we see that that when we come to realize that the people who are extremely matured, and for the people in UNO, in particular I would say the people in WHO, they should be supposed to be very matured. And to what extent they are matured, I'm not a comment on this. So they're supposed to be more matured. So they have the responsibility. For example, UNESCO, they have the responsibility to take care of the education, the cultural aspects, and so forth. Likewise, WHO has the responsibility to take care of the health of the world. So then these questions was, why do we need this study of neuroscience? Why do we need the study of quantum mechanics, relativity theory, the business, and so forth? So then it becomes very important and relevant. But otherwise, in the majority of the universities where you study neuroscience, they will just jump to the topic directly, and they will not necessarily talk about the relevance of this in your daily life and so forth. There may be some section on ethics, medical ethics, and so forth. That's a different story. Okay, so now here, what we suggest is that those of us who are attending this course, this talk, offline, online, and I'm sure you're not expecting degrees. You're not expecting degrees or credits. Okay, so you're not expecting that. So you come here for some other purpose. So how to deal with my emotions? Or some of us may be like, okay, let me listen to what he's saying, and then let me see how to help my husband, how to help my wife, angry wife, angry husband, or angry son, daughter, father, mother, and so forth. Maybe you're the one. Actually, you're the one, and you think that you are trying to help them, but actually you need the help, the reason help. Okay, so often that happens. because it's quite interesting for me, because my job is to meet with all different kinds of people related to these topics about dealing with emotions, managing emotions, so forth. And many of them so naively they come and they come say, okay, yeah, okay, shall I learn this because that I have to, I have a very problematic person in my family. So actually that person is feeling that you are the problematic person. So it oftentimes happens. So therefore, so first thing is that unless you are happy, you cannot export happiness. Don't forget it. Unless you have gold, you cannot export gold. Don't forget it. So expecting that everybody else should be so good and so forth, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So you should be happy first. You should be calm. For example, for me to talk about anger, I should control my anger. If I don't control my anger myself, I'm so short-tempered, whatever, creating all the problems, then this is not right. Okay, so having said this, to be very honest, I personally, since my childhood, in retrospect, I see that the teaching of the Buddha really, really, really helped shape my mind, shape my person, shape myself as a person, shape my mind. So whatever degree of calmness I have, it may be 10%, it may be 5%. Even that, the credit goes to the Buddha and all my teachers, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama and my teachers. So, under Narendra great teachings, this is for sure I would be a very different person had it not been the case that I met with this incredibly great teachings of the Buddha, particularly in a more academic plus practice. I see my teachers in real life, so compassionate, extremely compassionate, and sense of resilience, patience. And so academically so rich and profound, and experientially so moving and so embracing, so healing. So this is what I can say for sure that the where we meet with this tradition of the Buddhist teachings, particularly the Narendra tradition, is amazing. Okay, having said that, let me begin with a small anecdote. It's I'm sure that many of you went through or going through the problem. See, before you, and raise hands, be very honest, offline, both of you. Before you are the Dharma, so you backbite other people, saying, oh, look at this person, he's in Dharma, look at this person, she's in Dharma, but very shouting, angry. So what's the point of Dharma? You must have said it. The moment you jump into the Dharma yourself, then people tell it to you. What's the point? Look at this person in Dharma. And what's the point? So short-tempered, so angry, so jealous. So you write the curse, which you did it to others, and you now are having it yourself. Okay, I'm sure. Resonance. Okay, you had this problem. Yes. Okay. So if it happens, let me to console you. To console you, I'll like to share the interesting anecdote. Once there was, in fact, he was my schoolmate when I was in school, before I joined the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. When I was in school, he was maybe how many years senior to me? Maybe like 5-6 years senior to me. And finally, then after his schooling, he did lab technician training. And then after that, somehow his mind just fully dedicated to Dharma practice. And then he became like a Dharma practitioner. And of course, he's an extremely happy person, very jovial, very happy person. And then gradually with the age and with his experience of Dharma, and gradually started to get teachings also. Then he used to have his own small circle of students. And because he's a very happy person, his students, they also know that they can just make fun of him. There's no issue. They're very confident that their teacher will not feel offended. So one day he happened to be in Europe, where his students were, and the students, they invited him for they hosted him for a meal, and the food they had to order the food, and all the students, they ordered vegetarian food, and only he ordered non-veg food. And the students, they knew that the teacher would not feel offended, even if they made fun of him. So the students, they said that we are all your students, sir, and you are our teacher. But all the students ordered vegetarian meals, and you ordered the non-veg. And he just broke into laughter. He broke into laughter, saying that, ha, 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 you are very lucky. Oh, they said, why? Why we're lucky? You're so lucky that I'm Buddhist now. Because I'm Buddhist, I'm not eating you up. I'm only eating non-veg food. If I'm not Buddhist, I'll eat you up. You cannot be around me. So this is what he said. Okay. So what I'm saying is that yes, of course. Simply because of the one factor, it's not really this is not the justification for it. Anything. So the jokes apart. Say, what do you want in your life? This question. So in short, what we can say is that that we want to. There are two things. Whether you agree with me or not agree with me, and I can see that many of you from the online, I said that you already know you're from the Narada Studies course. I can see that. And the offline, there are many who are listening to me for the first time. So here, the two things that we're seeking in our life, and this is something universal. Just check it. For the time being, to save time, I'm just saying it directly. Otherwise, whatever I said, don't take it blindly. Instead, just check it to evaluate and to verify if what I said is correct. And if you say that no, that's not true, then discard it. And if you said that that's true, then we have to go deeper into this, and this can help us. Okay, so there are two things that everyone is seeking. One, to minimize miseries. For example, like COVID-19. COVID-19, whether you accepted the vaccine or you declined the vaccine, but the point is that nobody was happy at that point. Everybody had a feeling of the uncertainty of life. So it can hit me anytime. But except some people, they are against vaccine. That's a different story. It's your personal choice. But all in all, that nobody feels happy with the COVID-19. Everybody was scared, and the feeling of uncertainty was spreading everywhere. Okay, so from there we can see that if you do fall in this category, that oh yes, I did have the fear. So that fear, you don't like that experience of the fear, this very, very ugly, painful feeling. So we want to minimize that unpleasant feeling. This is one. Then the next is that the happiness, for example, be with your family members, particularly someone who is extremely kind, you feel you're seeing your dad, mom, brother, sister, and so forth after like several years or after like several months, and you feel that this person is extremely kind to you. The moment you see every cell of your body relaxes. This is another reality. So, how many had that feeling in your life, where you're meeting somebody who you have a tremendous feeling of affection, meeting after a while, after like a few months, and then the moment you see, your feeling is just
somebody, they have parked their car in front of the gate. 3906 car. Can they please? Yeah. So they are asking to.
Okay. So, announcement was made. I'm sure that you heard the announcement. The online participants is not meant for you. Not meant for the online participants, but the offline participants. Okay. So, what was I saying? Meet someone who you love so much, and the feeling of the ease is so beautiful. How many had that feeling was had in your life? Okay, for example, like Professor Navinji meeting her, meeting his little daughter. So much joy, I know. Yes, tremendous feeling of joy. So we have these feelings, so beautiful feeling. In fact, so these feelings. Just imagine that it expands. It expands to like 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, infinite times. Just imagine what that would be like. So once in a while, I would say these feelings are blessings. Blessings. What you really want, you want your mind to be extremely at ease, calm, and then this joy of the ease is just permeating through every cell of the body, and the whole world you say is so beautiful. So this is what we are all seeking, and it's true to everyone, whatever gender, whatever ethnicity, whatever religion, we're all seeking these two things. This is a reality. So having said this, the next is that, and can we obtain these two things to minimize your miseries and expand your happiness? This is the question. And if yes, so to what degree can we minimize the miseries and to what degree we can expand the happiness? This is the question. So with this in mind, we come to, so these are, I'm going pretty quickly. So here, answer is yes, it's possible. And to what degree we can minimize the miseries? We can minimize the miseries to zero. We can make it zero. And we can expand our happiness to infinite. This is reality. And for example, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. But we are not like that. We are like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. So we have the seed of perfection, also known as the hidden treasure. Hidden treasure, the awakening of which, or manifestation of which, all your fears will drop to zero, and the ease will expand to infinity. So with this in mind, the next question is that if this is the case, why I'm not feeling it? The fact that it is there and you're not feeling it means that somebody is blocking you from that experience. So what is that thing that blocks us from that? In short, so there are two factors which block us from experiencing the total fearlessness and experience the infinite ease. So what are the two factors? One is the cognitive error, cognitively erroneous mind, and the other one is the effectively narrow-mindedness of the selfishness. One is the cognitive erroneous mind, and the other one is the effective narrowness of pure selfishness. In short, ignorance and selfishness. These are two factors. As long as we have these two things, we can't expect to have zero miseries. We can't expect to have the infinite ease. This is reality. This is reality. For example, say, even if you don't know, for example, say, a specific an individual, and what religion the person is following, and which ethnicity, even though I have no idea about this person, but just meeting with the person, I can for sure, anybody can say that if that person, just observing the person, you sense that the person is very accommodating, compassionate, you see this person is a happy person. Whereas a person very selfish and not eager to learn. For example, like today, what's happening around the world? What's happening around you? For example, here in Delhi, LPG gas issue. So all these things we should be aware of. We should know we should get information. If you don't get the information suddenly, then you go as a regular customer to get the gas, and then the person asks for like 10 times the regular price, you'll be shocked. You say this person may be cheating. No, because it is your ignorance of not seeing what's going around the world. So, number one is the ignorance is one problem, and then the selfishness is another problem. Selfishness, generally speaking, selfishness to somebody who is more selfish, we all acknowledge that the person's very unhappy. This is reality. Whereas the ignorance, we see again, generally speaking, there's somebody who is less educated. The tool for the person to be happy is missing. Whereas the less educated person can still be very compassionate and can be very happy. But if the same person has education with less ignorance, with the same degree of compassion, the person will be much, much, much happier. So, in short, we have to first acknowledge that these are the two demons. If we are to really describe something as a demon, don't describe a person as a demon. They describe your own, these two factors which hamper you from experiencing the fearlessness and infinite happiness. These two as the demons. And so with this, having said this, okay, for example, just imagine that when there's so much of the selfishness, when there's ego there, when your ego is hurt, your ego is hurt, there was a feeling like extreme unpleasant feeling. Whereas you feel compassion to somebody else, what's a feeling? Feeling is so calm and gentle. This is reality. So from this, we come to realize that, okay, one thing that I have to learn is, although we may not be so definite, very extremely definite about this reality, but at least you cognitively you must be aware that my problem that I have, say it doesn't matter how educated you are, what is the status of your wealth, what's your the societal recognition. No. So when you are more compassionate and you are more educated, get rid of the ignorance. What kind of ignorance? That's again, they are we need to explore more. So where you are more compassionate and you are more equipped with education to get rid of the degrees of the miseries, degrees of the ignorance, you are happier. This is reality. So what really destroys my peace of mind is the ignorance and selfishness. That's the first thing that we learn. Whatever religion that we're following, whatever gender, whatever ethnicity, whatever social recognition, it doesn't matter. This is the universal fact. You may be the richest person, but so egoistic and selfish. Deep inside, you are extremely unhappy. Extremely unhappy. So in fact, the more the wealth you have, more unhappy you are. More the power you have, more unhappy you are because somebody doesn't listen to you. Your ego is hurt. And this is so painful. Whereas you're very compassionate. Okay, sometimes, let me give you an example. I'll give the example and try to apply this. Don't think that this is actually happening to him. Try to apply this to your own real life. To your real life and, if possible, first to your real life. And then see the kind of the people who are around you. Usually this is what happens. Some people who, otherwise appear to be very compassionate, sometimes their compassion can be quite shallow. How do we know that? For example, let's say that okay, you all want to learn Dharma. Oh, in which case you have to learn Tibetan. And I'll help you how to learn Tibetan. I'll be so proactive. You have to learn Tibetan, and then I will help you register here and there. And the people are very slow. Yeah, Geshe, let me think. I'm doing this for you. I'm not getting any benefit. And you say, yeah, Geshe, you're so kind, thank you. But I have many other things to do. I have this thing, that thing, so forth. So, and then you think that, so all these people, they're hopeless people, they even don't know how to take care of themselves. This is my over-enthusiasm. This is my unskillfulness. It doesn't mean that, that everybody should follow the way you like. No. Although it can be with a personal intention, but it's your unskillfulness that you are trying to create problem on others. In a facade of helping others, you are actually creating problems on others. So this is because of this unskillfulness. So the point is that overall speaking, the first reality that we need to acknowledge is that, and let's just check if it is true or not. You, with whatever degree of compassion that you have, if your knowledge is better, you will be a happier person. And with the same degree of knowledge, if you are more compassionate, you are a happier person. So in short, opposite of compassion is anger. And the opposite of compassion is also selfishness. And the opposite of the knowledge is the ignorance, where ignorance and the selfishness, these two are there, you are going to be the most unhappy person. This is reality. Superficially, it may appear so, you may appear so glamorous, so successful, but deep inside you can be very, very unhappy. And many stories. I'm sure many people, you are not from, but I know that you are, the bigger, wider, the world of the celebrities. You know what's going inside there. Who are going through depression. All these stories. So they are superficially so glamorous, but deep inside, there's so much competition, jealousy, then the selfishness, how to put on others, extremely painful. And it's not only in the world of the celebrities, even in the family, this can also happen. So therefore, the point is that this is the first recognition. Just see that whether or not this is true, that ignorance and selfishness, these two truly destroy your peace of mind, number one. And just imagine, if you're able to get into the ignorance, get into the selfishness, first if you work, but even to get into the selfishness, ignorance, try your best, try to learn something, keep learning something more. Be aware of the world more, be aware of the reality more. Learn something about physics, learn something about biology, neuroscience, or philosophy, psychology, keep learning something. Meanwhile, just see that you become more compassionate person. You become more compassionate person, you believe it or not, you become a happier person. This is for sure. Then, to be more compassionate means you have to surrender the selfishness. And selfishness is the demon. It comes in the facade. Look, it comes in the facade of your protector. Selfishness, anger, ego. They come in the facade as your protector, the strongest protector, and it gives you a false energy. That, for example, so say the mobile that we have, which you recently got as gift, birthday gift from your mom. What? Professor Vinci, iPhone 17 Pro Max, right? And when you're angry, you just drop it and you just break it. And then when the anger subsides, you regret. So this is what gave you, who gave you this energy? Otherwise, you, even just the next moment, you try to clean this, rub it, wipe it. And when you become in the rage of anger, you just drop it, and then one day, or a time, the anger subsides, and then you regret. Who gave you this? This is the faulty energy. Who gave you this faulty energy? It blinded us of the reality. So therefore, the ego, the anger, they actually blind us from the reality. So having said this is the first thing that we have to acknowledge, that these two, as long as I have these two things, I'll be a very unhappy person. And what I want in my life is to, whatever you do, for example, I want more money, I want more power, I want this, that, my family to be happy, I want to take sometimes the children, they are extremely kind children, who said that in my life, I just want to take my parents for a holiday. This is amazing. It happens once in a while. Majority of the children, they say, when will my parents give me a treat to allow me to go for a holiday? But it's only few children they think of how I wish that one day I can take my parents to the holiday. No, the mindset is very different. It's very different. So therefore, these people who think about this, when will there be a day that I'm able to take my parents for a holiday? They never went for a holiday. So these people, these children, when they grow older, they'll become very, very happy person. They'll become a very happy person. And this would be the greatest legacy for their own children in the future. So having said this, if these are the two demons, selfishness and self-grasping ignorance, how to get rid of this? If there is, say for example, if you don't want something green on the wall, and the wall is blue, and you put on the yellow glasses, what will you see? You'll see green. Although you don't like green there, where you put on yellow glasses and look at the sky is green. The sky is green. So if you really don't want to see the sky is green, you want to see the sky blue, remove your lenses. Remove your own glasses. Don't blame the sky. Why you are green today? Right? Remove your lenses and then the sky is very beautiful blue. So likewise, the thing is that if you come to get rid of these two things, selfishness and the ignorance, then believe it or not, it is like removing the murky lens, and you start to see things so beautiful, healing, is amazing. So with this mind, the next practical thing about how to get rid of ignorance is about the bringing about the cognitive transformation, for which we need to learn a lot. Okay, keep this aside. Now the selfishness, how to get rid of selfishness. And anybody, yes, we have some degrees of selfishness. But we can become angry. When we become angry, there's an element of selfishness. So don't feel bad that you have the selfishness. Because the word selfishness, the moment somebody says, you're very selfish, it can offend us very easily. But the reality is that almost like if you're a Bodhisattva, not only Bodhisattva, high-level Bodhisattva, and a Buddha, you're a different story. Otherwise, there's always some degree of selfishness. For example, if I ask this question to you, how many of you, day when you were born on this planet Earth, how many of you must have cried? Okay, offline, online. Day when you were born on the planet Earth, how many of you must have cried? Raise hands.
Don't remember.
Okay, I did not say how many you remember. This is not my question. My question, how many of you must have cried? This is my question. Everybody. What did you cry? Why did you cry? Why did you cry? What must have made you cry? Is it because that, the other baby is, feeling cold, please feed the other baby?
No, because you've lost the security of the womb.
Because, say, somebody slapped you. No conscious of security and so forth. Somebody slapped you. You feel the pain. Why slap you? If you cry, well and good. If you don't cry, they'll slap you. To make you cry. Why make you cry? So that you breathe. For that purpose. But when you cry, you do not cry that, now I can breathe. Thank you for slapping. No. You cry because somebody slapped me. There's a pain there. I don't like this. I don't like this. You do not say that the other baby is, why did you slap the other baby? This is not a problem. You're crying because that I'm slapped. Somebody slapped me. This is the self-centered attitude. This is how we begin our life. There's nothing wrong. We don't have to feel shy over having a sense of selfishness. But the point is that this selfishness is the one which destroys your peace of mind. This selfishness is the one which steals your infinite ease. So our job is how to get rid of this. If you get rid of this, you have an incredibly beautiful treasure inside. This treasure is so beautiful. For example, like diamond, let's say, diamond, 1 kg diamond. 1 kg diamond. And diamond when mixed with the mud. Although nature of the diamond is to glow but it doesn't glow when it's mixed with the mud. And we, the ordinary people, may throw this. But the diamond experts will say, don't throw this, there's a diamond there. And how do you know that there's a diamond there? He will make us remove the mud from the diamond. Remove the mud, and the diamond inside will start to glow. So we all have the diamond. Whatever religion that you're following, whatever ethnicity, whatever your social status, we all have this diamond-like hidden treasure within us. And this is not a story, this is a reality. We all have this. So our job is to remove the mud of the selfishness and remove the mud of the ignorance. Remove these two and an incredibly beautiful diamond. Everybody has the capacity to become one like the diamond, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, so compassionate. And many people just going to have the audience with His Holiness and just having the glance of His Holiness just since 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, people just having to see His Holiness. They can't control the tears out of something inside is moved. Something inside. Within is like what is known as the mirror neurons. Mirror neurons. Mirror neurons. You see His Holiness compassion there, you could feel that. Something is activated within you. You also have that. That's activated. And you have never experienced that before. Now you are for the first time. That's activated. You feel something inside. It's so powerful. It's within you. His Holiness is contributed to activate it because of His neurons of compassion that serve as to mirror the same neuron within you, to activate that neuron within you. So this is what happens. So we all have that treasure. So the next question is how to get rid of this. This next question. How to get rid of the selfishness. How to get rid of selfishness so that this, what His Holiness embodies as universal compassion, that can be actually activated within us. This is the next question. So with this in mind, what is very important is that how many of you have shown anger to your family members once in a while? Raise hands. How many show anger towards your family members once in a while? Okay. Offline, online? Yes. And how many of you show very often? Anger very often. For small things. Anger very often. You can make mistakes. Nobody's allowed to scold you. And somebody make mistakes, you are allowed to scold them. This is the mindset of many people. So the next question is that when we have this anger, this is nothing good in this. It's only the first job that it does is to destroy your peace of mind. How many agree with me that the moment anger arises, my peace of mind is disrupted? Raise hands, offline, online, both. Okay, some people, they have no idea because they're 24/7 angry. Some people, they have no idea what that is like. Okay. So what I'm saying is that there's a tendency there. So now today I like to touch this area, the tendency, this concept of the tendency. For example, like what is known as the habits, habitual tendencies. For example, like drug addiction, alcoholism, and so forth. These are all the tendencies. Tendencies which are so difficult to undo, difficult to undone. Okay, so likewise selfishness. Also, you can build up a tendency. And tell me, how many of you know what tendency is with respect to your own behaviors? Tell me, anything, behavior, anything, and just anything. They can be something good, something bad, or whatever. As in if you can just share with us as to what does it mean by tendency? Can you give me some examples? Tendencies. Anyone? Offline, online? Okay, here.
Yeah, a lot of people have a negative.
Okay, your, not others.
Yeah, mine included.
Mm.
Something small might have happened, but you imagine it to be the worst thing. You imagine the worst thing that it would lead to, and you start worrying about it, going in the loop.
Okay,
That's a
so
tendency to think negative about the
tendency to think negative. Tendency to think negatively when something small thing happens, and then in your mind it just keeps snowballing, and then you make it a huge, and they make a mountain out of mole. Okay, this is what happens. Anyone else? Tendency with their own tendencies. Anyone?
Self-righteousness.
Self-righteousness. Yes. It's not only bad. There are good tendencies also. Yes.
Something which happens by default
Like?
within a person.
Like?
It could be overthinking or negative.
What makes you think that is default?
That's
By
the
default.
tendency
He did what to say.
a feeling.
Huh?
A feeling.
Yes. Okay. By default, as a connotation, the tendencies. Anyone?
Protect yourself. So that protect yourself.
Tendency to protect yourself. Yes, exactly. For some hard so here, everybody's listening to me in English. You spoke in English. For example, say those people who are born in an English-speaking family, that's a different story. Otherwise, for people like us, learning English, say how long did it take? For example, say you can do it very easily with ease. It comes with some thought is there. You want to express it. It comes in words so easily. You don't have to struggle. But whereas, for example, some people they just struggle with the words. They don't know what word to use. They have to think, sentence structures. They have to think. So even the spoken, for example, whatever language that is speaking, Hindi, English, Tibetan, whatever language that is speaking, you speak very fluently. There's a tendency. You have built a tendency there that it comes very spontaneously. So that's because of tendencies. So what she calls as by default. So this is a tendency. Now selfishness, it can also come as a tendency. We have the tendency, but this tendency can be extremely gross. The grosser the tendency, more unhappy we are, more destructive you are in your family, in the community, and in the world. This is reality. So this is the reality. So the thing is that, but this is not your true nature. The tendency that you've brought, the tendency of the selfishness that we've brought, this is not your true nature. That's not your true nature. Your true nature is so beautiful. Never ever underestimate your own true nature. In fact, when you're angry, somebody says, why are you angry? Again, you become even more angry. So the point, this is not your true nature. Always keep that in mind that this is not your true nature. So our job is, okay, how many of you agree with me that, okay, yeah, that's true. When anger is there, I'm not happy. When I'm angry, I'm not happy. Raise hands. And I want to get rid of this. Raise hands. Okay, when you're calm, you say, yes, I want to get rid of this. When you're angry, somebody says, no, look, you want to get rid of this? Who dares? Right? How dare you say this? So look at this is what anger is. This is not your true nature. Your true nature is so beautiful, so beautiful. So while we are still not angry, this is so important to try to mitigate the part of the tendency of the anger. How do you do that? This next question. Okay. So for this, the mantra which we recited, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, all the phenomena arise from the causes. Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat. What the causes are is taught by the Tathagata. So how these tendencies arise? These tendencies for selfishness, these tendencies for the anger, how do they arise? They arise because of the causes. So what are the causes? While you're still very calm and peaceful, be mindful of the causes. When you are angry, when you agree with the anger, then you will not really think about the causes. You will just flow with anger. So forcefully, you will flow with anger. When you are very calm and peaceful yourself, while you are still very calm, then you think of the causes. What can potentially give rise to the anger? So anger, say at the root, is the selfishness. So to make it very clear, because I know that there are many of you who are more academically, say, the very enlightened, and also you want to practice the Dharma in your real life. So the two together, for those, even for others also, never ever underestimate your potential. Don't think that I'm not really from the academic side. No, whether we are academic or not, we all have this incredible potential to know all phenomena, to become Buddha. We all have that potential. Whatever religion you're following, when you say to become Buddha, it doesn't mean Buddhism. It simply means that your hidden treasure inside manifests fully with a perfect knowledge, perfect power, and a perfect compassion. These are three qualities that you can manifest when your hidden treasure manifests fully. So perfect knowledge means the ability to know all phenomena simultaneously. You all have this potential. We all have this potential. So Buddhist mind, say the anger which destroys our peace of mind, which we don't really approve of its existence within us. We all want to get rid of this. But when we're in the rage of anger, then we cannot, our mind loses the sanity to think about the viciousness of this anger. So the best time for us to do is while we're still calm and peaceful, at that point we need to concentrate on these. Finally, my long-term goal is to get rid of to have the maximum happiness and get rid of my miseries. And what attracts the miseries is this selfishness and the ignorance. And that ignorance is the ignorance, and technically speaking, ignorance grasping at things as intrinsically real. This is I'm not going to touch this today. And the other side is the selfishness, that I'm more important than you. So these two things, when they combine together, so in the absence of the ignorance, this selfishness cannot do anything. This selfishness cannot do anything to destroy you, to give pain on you. It cannot do. In the absence of the selfishness, ignorance per se cannot give rise to, again, the gross pains. It cannot give rise to the gross pains. So these two must come together. For example, technically speaking, when the ignorance is there, but the selfishness is not there, it is like a very kind bodhisattva who just generated the bodhicitta. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, but the wisdom is yet to be generated. So there, the wisdom is not there, wisdom is ignorance there, but because of this compassion, the selfishness is subdued. So this person will not accumulate destructive, so the anger and the evil actions, no. Then on the other side...
Sorry, Geshe, I'm just turning on the laptop audio.
Why?
Somebody was trying to say, to reply to one of the questions.
Okay.
So just checking that everything is audible. Yes, it should be fine now. Yes.
Okay.
Let's continue.
Thank you. So, whereas when there's selfishness there, but it's a self-centered, self-grasping ignorance is not there, only the selfishness. Again, this selfishness cannot really make you to attract the painful miseries. For example, arhats, Sharvaga arhats and Pratibuddha arhats. Because the self-grasping ignorance is removed completely, selfishness is there. So it will not make them to be put into samsara. So they're free from samsara, but they have the limitation of their ease. Ease is limited because they are still affected by the selfishness. So only when these two are together in us, very actively together, then will attract all the painful tears of samsara. Extremely painful tears. Sometimes the pains are so acute. How many felt that once in a while? The pain is so acute. I cannot really think of this pain anymore. In a sense, how many went through such pains? Okay, young ones say you have no experience. Don't worry. They are waiting for that. Young ones, these are waiting for you. There are many in row waiting for you. Okay. So painful. So if you really don't want to have this, then we really need to work to get rid of these two things, selfishness and self-grasping. Now, if you know that these two are two causes, then these two combined together will give rise to all the gross emotions like anger, craving, greed, jealousy, all the gross afflictions are manifested when these two things combine together. In facade of Dharma also. Oh, I'm the Dharma practitioner and how you are disrespecting me. Self-torture. So sometimes I'm a Dharma practitioner and you are disrespecting me. You should respect the Dharma practitioners. It's a self-torture. Again, the self-centered is coming. If you're a real Dharma practitioner, prove that when somebody abuses you or when somebody, when you're not being given the due respect, it's fine. This is samsara. If this is what you can do, instead of showing anger to others, you feel sympathy. You can empathize with others. If that happens, this is the real Dharma. This is real Dharma. Otherwise, I've seen all these dramas in my life. I've seen that. This is a beautiful practice for myself. Beautiful practice. When I see these things, oh, Dorji, hey, look at this. Don't mimic these things. You can also do the same thing. And that is very helpful. So. It's like a mirror. So Jesus Milarepa said, for me, everything is Dharma. Everything, good, bad, everything is Dharma for me. Good things that I appreciate. The bad things, I should not do that. That's a lesson for me. I should not do that. Okay, so with this, when these two things come together, selfishness, ignorance together, invariable, all these gross, destructive emotions will manifest. And that will really kill us. I'm using this word. They will kill us. They will kill us. They will kill us. So, one of the worst of such emotions is the anger. Anger can manifest in any form. Simply because, can any form, to anyone. And I'm not going to specify, to this person, to that person, this person. It can manifest to anyone at any place, at any time, in any form. Anger. This is so destructive. So, how to mitigate this? And some people, when the question is that this anger, how does it arise? Yes, at the root, these two things are there. These two things. What are the two? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude or selfishness. These two things are there at the root of the anger, jealousy, craving, all these things. These two things are always there. But alongside, there are other factors. Particularly for anger, which really destroys you and destroys the whole family. The peace of mind of the whole environment. So today, I said that Tibetan house is a golden era today. I'm saying this, it's a golden era. So now the staff, they're so beautiful, the staff, Tibetan staff. Of course, they're very inexperienced, they're new, very inexperienced, so therefore they give me a lot of headaches. But I see how pure they are, the heart. It makes me so happy. Oh, Geshe, hey, Dorji, don't worry. So although they make this mistake, that mistake, this mistake, but deep inside they're very hard, they're not crooked. So this is so amazing. So this is where the anger is there. It can really disrupt you, disrupt your family, and disrupt everyone. And then if you are very powerful, you can destroy the world. This is the job of anger. So with this in mind, the next is how to mitigate the power of the anger. How to mitigate the power of the anger. How to transform. If the warrior, the real warrior is somebody who's able to destroy what destroys you. Oh, now he said that the real warrior is somebody who destroys what destroys you, and he's the one who's destroying me. I said, this is your ignorance. The real, believe it or not, you destroy person A at workplace, oh, my colleague person A is very complicated, and then you talk to the director, you talk to the manager, you talk to this, talk all that thing, cook up stories about the person A, and the person A is removed. You're so happy. Then the person became even more complicated. Again, you have to work from the start. Again, you have to cook stories. And gradually, people will not trust your stories because the same stories come over and over again. And then they will remove you. So therefore, the point is that this is unwise. The real wisdom is if you can mitigate a part of your anger subsided. So tell me, in your workplace, you show anger, people are more attracted to you, or you show kindness, people are attracted to you more. Tell me. Of course, kindness. This is common sense. So with this in mind, what really destroys you is your anger, not somebody else. But it doesn't mean that, that you come up with any situation and it's my anger, it's my selfishness. No, you should be very realistic. Well, be very realistic according to the conventional world. According to convention, by law, if person A and you, if there's a friction happening, by law, that it is other person's mistake, then you have to know how to deal with this accordingly, by law. And by law, if the other person is overly nasty, then you have to know how to deal with this accordingly. So this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about long-term solution. Long-term solution is to say finally your anger. Remove this anger, and particularly how to remove this anger? By removing the root of this anger too. Ignorance and selfishness. Remove these two, believe it or not, what external factors you meet with, your mind will never feel disturbed. The feeling of the pain that you get, you will never get such a feeling of the pain. If these two things are removed. So that's a long-term solution. So immediate solution is the immediate. So here I'm talking about more about the dealing with this anger more from the immediate, as a immediate solution. For the immediate solution, on the 8 verses of mind training. 8 verses of mind training. There's one text, short text, just 8 verses by the great Tibetan teacher, Geshe. So there he identified what can potentially give rise to the anger. What can potentially give rise to the anger? In the first place, say that what's the opposite of anger? Tell me. What's the opposite of anger? Compassion. And the Professor Venerable, the earlier said, patience. Yes, anger can manifest in various forms. Anger, for example, so I'm waiting for this class, waiting, and it's only 6:30, still the class is not happening, so you lose your patience. Then it manifests in the form of anger. So now is already selfish, still he's not stopping. He's always submitted to when will you stop? Right? When you stop, still is not stopping, so you lose your patience. You're getting it? You lose your patience, and then it will erupt in the form of anger. So anger, as opposed to the patience. Then the other would be like the compassion, as opposed to the anger. So there are different forms of anger. So with this mind, what I'm saying is that this great teacher, Geshe, in the 8 verses, I would say that you must try to learn this, the 8 verses. You must read this and try to contemplate on this 8 verses. And I would say Professor Renji, Venerable Samdela, and many of here, Gaganji here, and there is others here, and Sagarji also, and here our Professor Navinji also. So they will provide you with this text, short text, 8 verses of mind training, anybody who's interested in this. So there the author helps us identify the root of this anger. When can the anger arise? What are the factors which can trigger anger in us? He identifies those. Once the root is removed, then so anger subsides. This is amazing. So whereas usually some of the parents, what they will say is that you are very short-tempered. You are a very angry girl. Don't be angry. Yes, mom, I don't want to be angry, but her mom is very different. Her mom feels so proud of her. Yes? I know. Okay, we know some deeper stories about what her mother thinks when she was going with the daughter. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the anger, the author identifies the cause of the anger. For example, I say the 2009, I started to have some rib pains and quite painful, and pain persisted for like 3 days, continuous pain. And what I could feel is the pain, and I didn't see the root of the pain. And then I approached the doctor, and the doctors asked me to do biopsy. With a biopsy, the root was found that it was a tuberculosis. You getting it? So I didn't know it was tuberculosis. What I knew was the pain. There was a unbearable pain, and the root was the tuberculosis bacteria. So this was what was discovered. So that if you identify the root and you remove the root, the pain is over. You agree? So like with the anger, if you identify the root of the anger, remove that, your anger is gone. Once anger is gone, you're a very happy person. So when you're a very happy person, what happens? For example, like how many, if you go to your room and suddenly you see your wall with the pencil sketches, you'll be very upset. Raise your hands. Suddenly you see that there's pencil sketches there in a wall, on the wall of your house, you're very upset. Raise your hands. Yes. But in the eyes of the mothers, it's very different. One time I was invited for a meal by my friend and his wife. And wife came, and I saw the whole wall with these pencil sketches, and this aversion just came to my mind. Aversion. But out of courtesy, I just went calm. And the mother came, and the mother said, Geshe, this is a painting of my children. And look, there's a joy in her. There's a joy in her, and then unhappiness in Geshe's mind. This is joy in the mother's mind. So why there's a joy there? Which you want? Aversion or the joy? Which you want? The joy, right? Joy. So what gives joy? It's the same trigger. It's the same trigger, the same stimulus. But in one, joy is triggered. In the other, aversion is triggered. So what made the difference? Affection, compassion. Opposite of selfishness. Compassion, which embraces rather than which pushes. So therefore, so we see that the same trigger, we identify the triggers, and the same trigger which can actually destroy your peace of mind, you can change it to create peace of mind. Okay, so what are the triggers of anger? Okay, tell me, anyone, raise hands. What are the potential triggers of anger? We all have the experience of anger. Tell me what are the triggers, and then we'll learn how to deal with them. Yes. Quick. What are the triggers of anger? Yes, over there. Dissatisfaction over.
Somebody insults us.
Expectation. Okay, it's very general. Be very specific.
Somebody insults us.
A person insults you, and you feel so angry. Somebody insults you. Very good. Anyone else?
Treated unfairly.
Somebody treats you unfairly. Very good.
Don't agree with your point.
Oh yes, but the person doesn't agree with your point.
Somebody exploits you.
Okay, somebody exploits you. Okay, online, Sangeeta Chopra. Online, Sangeeta, are you there? Okay, if you're not there, your hand is up, your original hand is up, which is fine. Anyone else?
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep, yes. This can trigger anger, yes. Lack of sleep over there.
If someone
Misunderstands you like?
like you are sharing your point of view, but the person is taking it in completely another way.
Okay, just taking the opposite way.
Yes.
You try to help, the person takes you as somebody harmdoer. Wonderful, yes.
Somebody belittles you.
Belittles you, somebody belittling you. Okay, so we see that there are multiple reasons there, and we must read those texts. So, for example, let's say many of the factors which you've identified. So we see that if we can. Okay, so for this, Bodhisattva Shantideva, we must be aware of this scholar, this teacher, Bodhisattva Shantideva, 8th century great Indian master. And his book, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, let me repeat it, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. In chapter 6, he said one thing which is very important. So let me read what he wrote. He said that having found its mean anger's fuel of the mental unhappiness, in the prevention of what I wish for, and in doing what I do not want, hatred or anger, there arises, increases, and disrupts me. Okay, what it says here is that when the unpleasant feeling when somebody belittles me or somebody misunderstands what I'm saying, then what happens? Unpleasant feeling comes in you. This unpleasant feeling will then make you manifest it disrupts into the form of anger. So primarily for the reason that because it's not happening the way I want. I want him to understand like this A, but he understands it as minus A. And I want him to respect me, but he belittles me. And what else?
Being treated unfairly.
So he should treat me fairly, but he's treating me unfairly. You're getting it? In other words, the other person is doing what I don't like. And the person is not doing what I like. So then unpleasant feeling comes. So this is very important. The study of the Buddhist psychology. So what is that here? So I read this since in my 20s. But later, and I studied all this Buddhist psychology in my 20s. Only in my late 30s or early 40s did I realize that, wow, this is amazing. This is all the Buddhist psychology, very rich academic Buddhist psychology applied. Okay, there's a battery problem. Applied in the day-to-day the management of the emotions. So this is what you see that this is so rich. So here, if you can really apply whatever you have learned in the academic, the studies of Buddhist philosophy and psychology into a day-to-day life management of the emotions, that would be so beautiful. So with having said this, so the question is that in Buddhist psychology there's the mention of what is known as the 5 ever-present mental factors, or oftentimes also translated as the 5 omnipresent mental factors. 5 omnipresent mental factors or 5 ever-present mental factors, which means your function of the mind, how the mind works. So the mind works, for example, so with this, there are millions of mental functions there. Of these 5, I just like to touch on these 5 and then see if you can utilize this knowledge in your day-to-day life. Keep observing your mind and see how the anger arises. And sometimes what happens is that before the anger arises, you can see that the initial trigger, the spark of the anger coming within you, and then you can stop it right from there. So the first one is contact. First, let me enumerate what these 5 are. Contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, and intention. What's the first one? Contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, and intention. 5. So let me quickly explain this. For example, let's say that, okay, how many of you are so fond of morning sleep? Morning sleep? Oh, that's amazing. Not much. Okay, particularly when you're in your 20s. When you're in your 20s, morning sleep, right? Raise hands. Okay, in your 20s. In your 50s, 60s, even if you like to sleep, you get up, you wake up at like sometimes 4 or 5, right? Okay, so in your 20s, because of your body health and body mechanism, the physiology is so good that it needs lots of sleep and rest. Say you get up at early, say you usually get up like 6, right? It's school days. Not now. Now maybe some people 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's say 6 o'clock. And then the Sunday maybe some even 5. When I was in school is 5. And Sunday maybe a little longer, 5:30 or maybe 6, I'm not too sure. Okay, let's say Sunday you sleep a little longer, like 6. And say Sunday is supposed to be 6, and your mother say opens the door and say, "Good morning, my son, my daughter. Good morning. It's only 5 p.m." Which means that now for you, you crave for the sleep, and then your mother wakes you up and good morning, happy birthday, right? You're happy, not happy. You crave for your sleep, and your sleep disrupted by your mom saying happy birthday 2 hours before your waking up time. You're happy, not happy? Huh? Happy, not happy? Sagar? Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Both. Why both?
It's happy birthday and it's good intentions. You feel nice also, but you're also irritated.
Okay, so, but what you see is that you see your mom holding something in her hand, right? And then what do? Happy birthday. It's not like good morning, it's happy birthday, and the mother's holding something in her hand. What do? Your eyes come in contact with what the mother's holding, contact. Then number 2, because your mind is still in sleep, so what do? You pay attention. How do? You rub your eyes. You rub your eyes to pay attention, so that your eyes are not hazy anymore. By paying attention, you discriminate that this is brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max, right? Okay. What happens? You're happy, not happy? Very happy, pleasant feeling. Number 1 is contact. Number 2, attention. Number 3, discrimination that this is brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max. Then the feeling is very pleasant feeling. You like the pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling? Pleasant feeling. So you want to sustain the pleasant feeling or not? I want to sustain the pleasant feeling. How to sustain the pleasant feeling? By sustaining the trigger of the pleasant feeling. What's the trigger of the pleasant feeling? What your mother was holding. You getting it? What your mother is holding. Then what do? What is next to the feeling is intention to embrace what the mother is holding. Embrace the intention to embrace. Embrace is good or bad? Generally speaking. Embrace is good or push is good? Push is aversion. Embrace is affection. So you embrace, is healing. Then you, okay, look, now and how the anger arises. You get it, you come to raise a piece of chocolate. It's not iPhone 17 Pro Max, it's just a piece of chocolate, almond chocolate. right? Then what happens? You throw this. You throw this. Now again, new set of 5 ever-present mental factors arise. Number 1, contact with the object. Is it often scented or chocolate? Then you pay attention. It's just ordinary chocolate, right? Discrimination, feeling pleasant, unpleasant feeling. Which is better? Your sleep is better? 2 hours extra sleep is better, or 1 ordinary chocolate is better? 2 hours sleep is better. Chocolate you can get any way, right? Anytime. So, pleasant feeling comes, unpleasant feeling comes. Unpleasant feeling comes. You want unpleasant feeling or not? You don't want it. How to stop the unpleasant feeling? By stopping the trigger of the unpleasant. What's the trigger of the unpleasant feeling? Chocolate. So you push the chocolate. Intention to push the chocolate away. So that is the push. That push is the anger. Pushing things away from you, that is anger. So this is the mechanism of anger. Once you know the mechanism of anger, then our job is to reverse this mechanism. Reverse mechanism. So why the push happened? Why? Because of the feeling. Which feeling? Unpleasant feeling. So if you don't want to push, you have to make the change, remove the unpleasant feeling to change it to pleasant feeling. How to change the feeling? What triggered the unpleasant feeling? Because of the discrimination. So change the discrimination from seeing it as just an ordinary chocolate to something different discrimination. So you have to change the discrimination. How to change the discrimination? By changing the contact and the attention. You're getting it? So this is how we can manage the emotion of the anger. Now let's say it's a piece of chocolate. Okay, so let me give an example. Let's say that say it was a time of a conference, and I was there for the conference, and my very good friend, respected friend, very senior, very, very senior professor. They don't expect me to mention his name. Very senior professor. So, when we met, he said, Dorji, you have to come to stay in my house. I said, no, I already did the booking of the room here in the hotel. He said, no, just let go of this, you'll come to my house. I said, I already paid. He said, it doesn't matter, just let go. So, because I respect him so much, and he's insisting so badly, so finally I give up. I decided to go with him. Then I told him that if you really want to take me to your house, you have to inform your wife that you're bringing me. He said, then I told him, call her now. He said, no, I'll call him later. Then we're already halfway. Now you have to call him. He said, yeah, I'll call him. Now? He said, no, later. Then we reached the spot. And he said, Dorji, go. Dorji, go. So you are my host, you go first. No, you go first. There's a great degree of courtesy there, you go first. And when I went there, his wife was waiting at the gate with the 2 hands behind, like a policeman. And I said, good evening. Okay, Mrs. A, I'm not going to mention name. Mrs. A, and I said, good evening, Dorji. This is not her style. She is extremely gentle, but it is very different. Good evening, Dorji. Like a policeman, still she's not moving away. In the middle of the gate, not moving away. So and the professor pushing me. So I had to go through the site. The guest has to go through the site. The wife is blocking the way. And following me, the professor followed. Following me was the professor. Then inside the house, then at one point, I was to talk to the professor. I called him, say, Professor Mr. A.G. Suddenly the wife blasted. Dorji, he does not deserve to be called G. Then I realized why he called me. Then I discovered why he called me. Okay, so he called me as his protection, as honor, because if he's there, she will not shout too much. Okay, so with this, what I'm saying, then what happened was, then after this, then the professor misplaced his wallet, and he asked the wife, "Where's my wallet?" And the wife said, "No, it's your wallet." I don't know. Then finally he found the wallet. Then he started to blast the wife, saying, "You are the one who kept this wallet. You kept it wherever you liked, and then you just misplaced it." And he was blaming the wife, and the wife said, "No, I didn't. Yes, you did it. You overdid it. You're overdoing it." And I told the professor, "No, you found the wallet. Just thank your wife. Tell your wife, embrace the wife. Tell her that, okay, you don't do what I'm sorry for blaming you. I'm sorry, it's there. Finish. Your anger will subside." So why the anger is arising? Tell me. So look, contact with the wallet now. He found the wallet. Contact with the wallet. And the attention, is really my wallet? Discrimination, yes, it is my wallet. So it is there in this place. And the feeling, so this wallet, alongside this wallet, this is my wallet, and she put it there, not in the regular place. So pleasant feeling is unpleasant. I have to search for this, all these many, say for half an hour I have to search this, and she was to be blamed. Unpleasant feeling. So this unpleasant feeling made her mind to reject the trigger. What is the trigger? My wife kept it there. This. So the mind will reject. So that rejection is the anger. So now instead of this, say, okay, now if you don't want the rejection, you reject, then you change the feeling from unpleasant to the pleasant feeling. How to change the unpleasant feeling to the pleasant feeling? Change the discrimination. That, okay, fine, I found the wallet. She must be worried. Instead of that, she kept it there. Instead of that, she must have been worried. I may have, even it may be me who actually kept it here. We never know. So now she must be worrying. So when you say that she must be worrying, do you empathize or you feel angry towards her? You will empathize. So when you empathize, then the feeling is better, or feeling is the aversion. Feeling is better when you say that, oh, she must be worrying now. Your feeling is much calmer. So with this, the mind will embrace this trigger. What? That she must be worrying. So you will go to embrace her to say that, please don't worry, I found the wallet. So this is where you're thinking. So number 3 is the discrimination. Finally, it all lies in the, whether you are angry or whether you are sympathetic, whether you are compassionate, it's all determined by the feeling. Feeling is determined by the cognitive discrimination. So cognitive thinking, if you're very narrow-minded in your thinking, this can trigger unnecessary unpleasant feeling. With unpleasant feeling, invariably your mind will reject. This is the aversion, and the aversion is intense. It can be anxietic. If the aversion is prolonged, chronic, it can be depression. It can turn to depression. So our job is to lift up yourself from this aversion or rejection. You have to change the feeling. Or as Bodhisattva Shantideva said, unpleasant feeling, that is a trigger of the anger. So how to change the unpleasant feeling? By changing the discrimination. So to know to have a broad information, and profound information, broad and profound information. So you should be so rich in the information so you can interpret it in any way so that your peace of mind is guaranteed. With this, the mind will embrace, not reject. Okay, so this is how it works. The This is with respect to the dealing with the anger, and that too by managing your emotions through knowing the mechanism of the angers. Okay, so with this in mind, I'm sure that there are the questions. So the points, other points that I've noted down, I'm sure that we have the questions and we can deal with them. And some of the things that I'd like to share with you is that unnecessary anger. The one thing is that, again, the tendency with respect to what you say, that just try to stay away from using harsh words, unnecessary harsh words, unnecessary ill words. Try to stay away from these. This is very important. And some people, the moms, you said the same, like, okay, you must have come across such people. If you're not, you're bound to meet with such people. Say, how are you? Are you my doctor? You understand what I'm saying? Someone says, how are you? Are you my doctor? Where are you going? Should I tell you everything? How do you talk now? Look. So, look, just control your words. Correct speech. The Buddha talked about the correct speech. Correct speech. Just see what to say, what not to say, where to say, when to say. Learn, know all these things, and then you see that other person will not react against you. You want the other person to react or not to react. We want nobody to react. No one people to comply with what you're doing. You want to do that, don't let them react. Don't trigger the reaction. How to trigger the reaction? Unnecessarily saying things which you should not have said. And same, what to say, where to say, when to say, how much to say, how to say. We have to know all these things. These are the skills that we need to learn so that others really appreciate your company. Okay, so, okay, good. So I'd like to invite some questions with respect to the anger and dealing with the anger, the situations which can trigger anger and how to deal with them. Okay, anyone? Yes, over here.
Venerable, I was inquisitive about where does compassion sit? Sorry, hello?
Yes, yes.
Where does compassion, self-compassion sit in this light of
Managing the emotion, managing anger.
The selfishness and compassion. Where does self-compassion sit? Is it seen as selfishness, in a shade of selfishness?
What's your name?
Being.
Okay, but when you're saying, as you just correct me if I got it wrong, but when you're saying is that how do you distinguish between the self-compassion and the selfishness?
Yeah.
This is your question. This is a very serious question. How do we distinguish between the selfishness and self-compassion? The first thing is, as I told you right from the beginning, that there's nothing wrong in taking care of yourself. Not only that there's nothing wrong, it's so important that you have to take care of yourself. So people may call it self-compassion. This is so important to have self-compassion. It's very, very important. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, you will never know how to take care of others. So therefore, the first thing is make sure that you protect yourself. Be happy yourself. If you're not happy, there's no way by which you can spread happiness to others. It's so important to take care of yourself. Number one. Now, if this is because I have to take care of myself, is this not selfishness? Okay. Selfishness in a loose sense is wanting the best for yourself at the cost of somebody else. This is a selfishness. So, wanting the best for yourself at the cost of somebody else. This is selfishness. And actually, this is what destroys you. It will not give you what you want. It will destroy you. Not only you destroy others, it will also destroy you. This is so unwise. So, take care of yourself, not at the cost of others. take care of yourself. And later on, somebody who goes into this practice later on come to discover that the best way by which to take care of yourself is by taking care of others. So this is the later development. When you reach to a certain level of the practice, you yourself will discover that the best thing to guarantee my peace of mind and happiness, ease, is by reaching out to others, to help others. This is the best thing that you can do. This will guarantee that you will be the happiest person. So this is at a high level. And the initial level where you see a discrepancy there, helping others and then I have to sacrifice myself. When you see these two things as dichotomous, at that point, I would say that first, in your own capacity, try to protect yourself. Of course, not at the cost of somebody else, but to make yourself happy, keep yourself at peace, protect yourself. This is very important. And then, in your own capacity, see if you can help others, giving 10 rupees, 20 rupees, or coming to Tushita, service. For example, during the flood, so many people came, like I remember President Navinji and Gagan and the Chavila and yes, and Sagar. So there, so many of them, and Kunjola, and you were also there. Yes. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, say, in your own capacity, initially, at the initial stage, don't mix up with, the highest level of the cherishing yourself is to cherishing others. It is a reality. It will take time. It will take time when you reach that level of the realization. When you reach that level, it is so beautiful. You don't have to do anything, just help others, and your well-being is taken care of. The ease comes. It's amazing. So, from this, one thing that we need to really reach to a level is where, instead of seeing, say, while taking care of yourself in a conventional sense, at the same time, long run, finally what really disrupts my peace of mind is my selfishness. Where there's a selfishness there, I will never be happy. If you identify that, and then based on that, how to get rid of the selfishness, how to get rid of this self-cherishing? Cherish others. Cherishing others will remove this disease which attracts pains within me. What is that disease? Selfishness, which attracts pains within me. And when you reach that level, the moment you think that when you, for no reason, sometimes you get up early morning, sometimes in the afternoon you take a nap, and then you get up and you feel, for no reason, you feel so low, everything is so gloomy. How many of you felt it once in a while? Raise hands. Somewhere inside you feel so low. Raise hands. How many of you did not have that experience? How many of you did not have that experience in your life at all? We all have that experience. So here, even when you feel that, feeling low, hopelessness, I'm not good at anything, nothing is happening, So say you cannot talk to your husband, you cannot talk to your wife, you're angry with your wife is now angry with you. You cannot talk to your children also, you cannot talk to your mother because you're always shouting at your mother. So everywhere you feel that you feel so suffocated. And then they look at the walls. Walls are also very quiet. Walls are also very quiet. Look at the prayer flags. So like this. Like this. Everything is so sad. Look, so gloomy. Yellow. Even the smile also, very sad smile. Not a real smile, So there, yes, it happens. So at that point, whenever you feel any kind of something like these feelings, now look, self-centered attitudes acting on me. Self-centered attitudes acting on me. If this is not there, this feeling will not happen. I'm so happy that I'm able to identify this real culprit. Self-centered attitude. The moment you are able to get hold of the self-centered attitude as the culprit to be blamed for this unhappy feeling, instantly unpleasant feeling will disappear. This is amazing. This heaviness will instantly disappear. You have to practice this. This is so beautiful practice. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to blame anything. The moment you're able to successfully blame the self, my own self and the attitude, instantly the feeling of the lightness will take over this heaviness. It's so beautiful. Okay, next question. Okay, here.
Venerable, now I have a question which is probably I would have added more questions. The audience would have got bored. And as Sanatan said, that I will be very brief. My question over here, Rama, is that what is the role of karma in my ignorance, in my selfishness, and, as you rightly said, in my greediness? Three things. My karmas, according to Buddhism, there is something called past lives, there is something called reincarnation, which is scientifically not proved. Secondly, you have not whispered the cause of karma, why am I angry, why am I selfish, and why am I ignorant.
Very good.
Why is karma so silent here when it forms the backbone of Buddhism? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is why I anticipate this questions session more than my actual lecture. With question answers, then all the aspects which you're interested in will come in. So I just said I'm not going to go into detail with this part, this aspect, so forth, so that I can run it quickly and to edit it into questions. So at the root of all these anger, the greed and so forth, is these two things: self-centered attitude, self-grasping. So these two things there. These two things are there. They will trigger the causal emotions: anger, attachment, craving, jealousy. All these things erupted. These emotions will make you crazy, make you act which you otherwise would not act. This is known as negative karma. So negative karma is created by these crazy emotions. For example, like say, otherwise you just somebody touch your mobile, you say, how dare you touch my mobile? When you go crazy with your anger, you will break this mobile. So this is karma. So there are positive karmas and there are negative karmas. When you are in the rage of anger and so forth, it will just make you accumulate negative karmas, destructive karmas. So karma is the result of these emotions. Now, I say why this selfishness arises. So selfishness arises because of the tendency that we have built. We have built the tendencies that we have built from the past. For example, say you speak very good English, because you just effortlessly you spoke about the karma, because you have learned it before. You have learned it before. So what you've learned before, every time you learn something, you leave an imprint, the tendency. The more you learn, the more tendency that you leave. So selfishness, day when you were born, day when I was born, we cried. And the moment we cried out of the selfishness, again we plant a seed of selfishness. Tendency of selfishness is planted. So this is how, and how many times we've been selfish in our life, in a single day. How many of you feel that, oh, the person is unfair to me, he belittled me, it's all about me. Every time you say this, your selfishness is reinforced. The tendency is reinforced. So this tendency makes the selfishness to manifest very easily the next time. That selfishness combined with the ignorance will let the crazy emotions blast, and they will make you act, they will make you be the servant of these emotions to make you act in a very destructive way known as negative karmas. And these karmas will fruition in the form of painful experiences. This is miseries. Over there. Mike.
Can I avoid the camera, please? I don't come on the posture.
Yes.
So thank you, Geshe, for the wonderful session. I have two brief questions. One is that at times we have repressed anger. So our conscious mind is not very much engaged. That we think that where my selfishness coming in, or at times it is because of some trauma or something that it is repressed. So what could be some of the non-cognitive techniques to tackle our anger? And my second question is, you said our true nature.
Okay, I may address the first one first because this is a very good question. It's a very good question. I don't want to dilute it any further. So this question is about what about those people who have some traumatic experience of the past and because of which easily the person becomes prone to anger, agitation, frustration, so forth. How to deal with this without necessarily going through all the cognitive, the exercises. Okay, this is a very serious matter. So, say when I give these talks in general to the public, I cannot be too much into micro details. When you go into the micro details, exceptions are always there. For example, those people who go through these, what you call as the traumatic experience of the past, now manifesting in the form of easily just getting lost into frustration, agitation, sometimes even screaming and so forth, we really need to empathize with those. We need to empathize. Now the next question is how to heal these. Okay, so what happens is that, so with this, the traumatic experiences because of our mind. Now let us go back, let's imagine that you are in the shoes of that person and who once upon a time actually went through that traumatic experience. So at that point, what does it mean by traumatic experience? Experience which you don't expect, which is so undesirable and yet happen on a large scale or intense scale in comparison with your mindset, with your mentality. So that is something known as the traumatic experience. So that is something which directly in opposition with what the mothers will do, what the affectionate person will do to you. Affectionate person will never put you into a traumatic experience. So that is the opposite of compassion. So now how to help heal such person is to make sure that not to let the person remember the past events, number one. Not to let the person remember the past events. Which means, what happened to you at that time? Don't unnecessarily retrieve those experiences. And a person may, this happened, and put it in the dreams. In sleep, person can manifest, may howl, scream. This happened. That's because of too much. But in the daytime, don't try to, some people, they're so unwise. In the pretext of, they helping the other person, what happened that time, that person's so bad, you're actually just letting the person, they will again go back into this trauma. The memories comes back. So your job is introduce a counterforce for if there's the heat, excessive heat there. How to minimize the heat? By introducing coolness, cool sensation. Likewise, so when these things happen, instead for the trauma to minimize that traumatic the tendencies of the traumatic experience, to minimize that, give love and affection, and don't let this come up on the surface. So don't bring this issue. Just treat the person as very normal, and a person may behave very abnormally, sometimes loss of memory, sometimes may ask you the same thing over and over again. Just treat the person as sort of very normal. There's nothing wrong with you. And that comes with extremely, very strong feeling of compassion. So that person must be surrounded by compassionate and sensible, not just compassionate and wise, sensible people. Must be protected by these people, and once in a while take the person to outside when the person may not want to go out. Take the person outside by protected by the sensible, compassionate people. And then if this person is to meet with somebody else who's going to be very unwise, again, what happened at the time and so forth, oh, you're very different today. So the wise people should protect, should not let others speak about those things ever again. So gradually the healing takes place. Just like the heat, keep introducing the cool sensation, then the heat will gradually subside. This is how it. And then gradually the person will become very strong, and then you can inspire the person. It's amazing. You came out of this problem. If I were, you just say like this, if I were in your position, I can't imagine that one day I will ever come out of this. You came out so amazingly. You came out of this. You must write a book on this, so that many people will benefit from it. So the person will be inspired. So this inspiration, the feeling of the hope and the inspiration, that will make the person even stronger. So then later on, the person may even use those episodes to let the people be educated, and then this person himself will become even stronger to talk about these episodes. There's no effect. When you're vulnerable, then these episodes can easily affect the person. Now, a person becomes very strong, the person himself or herself will talk about these things in public. Good. Yes. Okay, second question?
Yeah, so you said like our true nature is like diamond, or like we often hear our mind is like clear blue sky. But isn't like survival instinct that we have biologically more predominant, that is root of selfishness, that is more there, like biologically ingrained in us?
Okay, this is very true. In fact, what you're saying is more in line with the Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory. Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory. So once the Venerable saying mentioned about Professor Pollockman, with whom I worked together, briefly for 5 days, was that he interviewed His Holiness within a span of 3 or 4, 5 years, to which for about like 54 hours within a span of, not like in one go, in like 3 or 4 years' time. Then he produced these, the interview in a form of book. The book is Emotional Awareness. The title of the book is Emotional Awareness. And the Office of His Holiness sent me to America to work with him to make sure that His Holiness's voice is reflected accurately. So I was there for 5 days with him, and there he was so kind. He was so kind to entertain me all the 5 evenings, and the one evening was to meet with his psychologist colleagues. And so he asked me to introduce myself. I introduced myself, and then he asked me, what is Buddhist psychology? So I explained that, and there was one lady psychologist. She raised her hand and said that, so what you are saying, that the destructive emotions like anger, attachment, selfishness, fear, this can be removed completely. And she said that according to Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, this is not possible. Because number one, these emotional instincts, we inherit these emotions from 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years ago, the first time the unicellular organism came to the planet Earth, with the advent of the water on planet Earth 4 billion years ago. So it's all these 4 billion years ago, the emotion gradually developed, and now this becomes instinct within us. So because it's instinct, you cannot get it with them. Number one. Number two, this justification given is that these are required for your survival tool, attachment, without attachment, greed, and so forth, you will not put effort to gather the conducive factors for your survival. Without the anger, you will not get rid of the discordant factors for your survival. Without the fear, you will not get away from the animals like wild animals like the lions and so forth. And then they will eat you up, and your species will terminate. Okay, so for these reasons, these emotions, you can't get it off. So what the Buddha has to say, Buddha said, yes, this emotional instinct, these emotional instincts, and then it's up to you. You want to let this emotion take you over, or you want to let your true nature manifest. It's up to you. It depends on your willpower. Number one, willpower. Number two, your smartness. How to be smart? If you are with the people who are working in the similar line of thoughts, of working on your true nature, it's very easy for you to go in this. If people are playing music all the time, the tendency for you also to play music, you will not study. But if you are surrounded by people studying everywhere, and then you with the ball is so odd. You also drop the ball and hand read the book. So these wisdom, how to be in the correct environment, then build a willpower to work inside, and is 100% possible. You find that nobody wants the tears to flow, painful tears. But stop that. If you stop that, let the diamond inside manifest. Okay, so the Aditya, last question.
In Hindu philosophy, in Hindu school of thought, we are taught the demons. I think they are called demons, the Rahu and Ketu. In Tibetan Buddhism, I've been pursuing Tibetan Buddhism for 7-8 years now. We are taught about demons. Who I assume are said to be self-grasping ignorance, and another one,
selfishness.
Are these two interrelated and the same, or there is a difference?
Okay, I would say that the best person would be, you would be the best person, because you learned both traditions. So it's your job to see if these two are identically same or different. Yes.
Because in Hindu philosophy, it is historically given. In Buddhist philosophy, till today I have not studied astrology. But they are also called demons in Hindu philosophy. In Tibetan philosophy, they are also called demons. So that's why this question.
Yes. And in fact, if somebody is interested, there's also Buddhist, the astrology there. It's quite extensive, and people study for 5 years. Like about MBBS students, they spend 5 years to study medical. There's also the astrology department. They study for 5 years. The Buddhist, the astrology. Yeah. Okay, good. That's it. Okay, before Professor Rinpoche speaks, so for the offline participants, these small books are there. These small books will be very handy for you. The Ravana. Okay, so just help yourself to get from Ravana, because these books are very, very, very it will be very helpful. These are the compilation of the teachings, and to give you a very quick idea how it can be. By the way, the preface, I wrote the preface there. You read the preface, it'll tell you how this book came to be.
So, on behalf of Tushita, Geshe, I would like to offer this to you, and we are very grateful that today you have described the anatomy of anger and the antidotes to it, So we will try our level best to practice at least a tiny bit. Thank you very much, and please come again. Now, next semester is the monsoon semester.
And also for information, there's this, the pamphlet here. This pamphlet, this is the Nalanda Diploma course, a 1-year course about these, how to manage the emotions. These are being studied in great detail. This brochure is also available here. It's available here, so please help yourself to get these, and it will tell you how to enroll. By the way, the Professor Renuga, Venerable Samdela, and Gaganji and the others, they will tell you, if those who are interested to join this course, they will give you the details how to do that. Okay, thank you, all of you, both online, and we'll do a quick dedication prayer. Hari Rave Gorbe Jingam Zur Benda Deva Mali Chumbe Ne Chere Sima Tenzin Gyazoye Shabe Sidi Padu Tengyurochi Chambe Bawe Chidra Kemba Tang Gundo Sambo Tian Deshende Deda Kunge Jeso Dalov Jing Gyawa Deda Tamje Rabdo Tezum Shebe Gyawa Tamje Ge Mo Khana Shodonga Bate Dage Gewe Sawa Digun Sambo Jujara Dongo Varaki. So we'll recite the Buddhist Shakyamuni mantra together. Age Doje Shage Riso Chon Shenge Meto Dege Bonjon Serge Dumbo Tabo Jebe Ko Shage Gebo Kyola Chaselo Mani Amuna Iswaha Muni Amuna Iswaha Mahamuna Iswaha Om Muni Mahamuna Iswaha Om Muni Mahamuna Iswaha Om Muni